My name is Candy. Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. Today I'm going to be talking about ways to bond with your new baby. So some concerns that some adoptive parents may have is, how do I bond with, my new baby? Um, Babies spend all this time in their mom's womb. They hear their voices, they get familiar with that sound, the sound of their heartbeat, all of that. And so it just, when the baby's here, they're now in your possession, in your arms. What can I do to make this baby feel calm and settled with me? So there are a few things that you can do. We did these things, well, some of these things, and they worked for us. So the first thing that you can do is going to be reading. I say reading because, as I just mentioned, babies early in the fetus, they can hear sound and they get very familiar with the voices that are around them, especially their mother's voice. And that voice becomes very soothing. It becomes a very familiar voice when they are born. Obviously, when they are born and they are placed with you, they don't have that familiar sound anymore. So now every sound that they hear is going to be new. So it is now your job to then introduce them to now your normal sounds. So whether that is your voice, your husband's voice, your wife's voice, your children's voices, the sounds that your dogs make, so they're barking, they're whining, whatever that is, they need to be getting familiar with those noises because that is their new normal. That is what they need to become familiar with because that's their new home. Our daughter was born early, so she spent a few weeks in the hospital in the NICU. We read to her every day. It didn't really matter what we were reading. We made sure that we read to her every day and we were constantly talking. So in the NICU, you'll see that it's very, if you've ever been in one, which if you haven't been, thank God, you're blessed, you're lucky. But if you've ever been in one, you'll notice that it's quiet. People try to keep it nice and quiet and calm. We weren't loud by any means. However, we did make sure that we played music. I played a lot of classical music because that's great for baby development. And we read to her. We read to her every day because it was a good way for her to learn our voices, just the way that we spoke normally. I was in the middle of reading Michelle Obama's book and I would read it out loud so she could hear my voice. So those are just small things that you can do as far as them getting familiar with your voice and the sound of things. Another thing I want to say, and just with babies in general, when you bring them home, all of that, oh, keep it nice and quiet. No. Mm-mm. The babies need to hear sounds just so that they will be able to fall asleep in anything. Okay? I'm telling you, take my advice. Don't make it, take my advice. Don't make it nice and quiet. Put on noise. I'm not saying blast music because I still wouldn't do that. But make sure that they get comfortable being able to fall asleep in different environments, different sounds. Okay? So reading is going to be my number one tip on being able to bond with the baby. The second is kangarooing or wearing your baby. Again, because she was born early, we were in the hospital, so kangarooing, skin to skin, is something that was essential for her development. We were very fortunate as to, we were adopting out of state. So both of us were not required to be at work at the time. We were blessed to be able to take off for a long time to be there with her every day. So we were able to be at the hospital for more than 8 to 10 hours a day and kangaroo for that entire time. When people hear that, they think it's unheard of. Yep, we were able to do it. As soon as the nurses saw that her levels, like her SATs, were fine, that she was actually doing better when she was on us, they would allow us to just hold her. When it was time for her to be fed and change, we would just change her right on our laps. They would come over, or I would just get up and put her feeding tube, her feeding tube was already connected, but put the syringe in the machine and just let it go. And we would just pretty much just do all her care by ourselves, but we would hold her for that extended period of time every day. So if you think 6 to 10 hours a day, 7 days a week for weeks at a time. I mean, 5 weeks we did this. So she learned our heartbeat. She learned our sense. She learned every single thing about us during that time. Of course, not everybody's going to have, you know, the luxury to do that, because not everybody's going to have all day off of work. You guys have, you know, may have other children. You may still be working. I know a lot of people in that situation, they have to go back to work, so they don't take leave until the baby's actually discharged from work. But whatever time you were able to spend with that child, and Kangaroo do the skin to skin baby wearing. So if you have any type of Moby wrap, baby katan, any of those type of things that you can put the baby directly on you, so that baby can learn your scent, feel your heartbeat, just be on you, it's going to make that baby bond with you. And this is essential for that baby and you. I'm telling you. And I also feel like that helped with our daughter's development. She's been a blessing. She did amazing while in the hospital. We didn't have one hiccup, one issue. And I always say that I think it was the skin to skin that she got, because I think it's medicine. I really, really, really wholeheartedly feel like it's medicine for them. So reading, Kangaroo Care, skin to skin, wearing your baby. The second one is going to be called, and a lot of people in the parenting adoptive world call it cocooning, or they call it cocooning, but you can call it taking leave. So what they mean by this is you're taking an extended time off, and this is so you can solely be home to care for this child. A lot of people do this when they have a child that's born with either special needs or a child that's born prematurely. However, a lot of people that adopt children, they do this. And that is so you can take that time, an extended leave, not your maternity leave, not your paternity leave, an extended amount of leave time, so that you can take that time and be at home alone and bond with that baby. Because those essential few weeks, few months is crucial to the bonding time. It is crucial. So it's almost like you're putting yourself in a cocoon, closing yourself up into this little bubble, and just being with the baby, so the baby can get to know you and your family. We had to do it just because we had a preemie. And so we were already doing these things without knowing the benefit that it was going to have, you know, which it worked out. The last one that I have is going to be nursing. I'm going to do a video on that. But yes, nursing your adoptive baby, that is a thing. It's a thing. It is something that has become widely popular in the last few years. And it is an amazing way to bond with your baby. It's no different than a biological mother bonding with her natural born baby. Bonding is bonding, and there is no better bonding than nursing your child. So we have Kangaroo, skin to skin care to bond with the baby. We have reading, singing. So reading and singing goes hand in hand, just so the baby can hear your voice. Cocooning, taking leave, spending that alone quality time alone with the baby, almost in isolation with the baby, and then nursing. Those 4 key things are going to be crucial in bonding with your new adoptive baby. You have to remember that the 40 weeks, normal 40 weeks gestation that baby has in their mommy's tummy, we don't get that. So we need to make up for it. We need to make sure that baby does have something that is going to make them familiar with us. And we have to put that extra time in. So I hope that this video helps you out, because again, we didn't have much time. I didn't really take time to think about a lot of these things when we started our journey, because everything happened so quick. The next baby, I have a whole, folder in my head of ideas and things that I would do, and, things I would do different. Mostly I'm feeding, because this one over here, I tell you, it's like, Lord have mercy. But anyway, you learn from experience. And I hope that these things right here, if you haven't already started thinking, or if you weren't considering doing any of these things, especially if you can take that extended leave with your work, I would definitely say to take it. So that's what I have on that. I hope that this really helps you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section. Please go ahead and like this video. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. And please turn on your notifications so you know when I upload new videos. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.